Alright, so welcome back. Oops. That wasn't good. Just dropped the arm. Yeah, I just, what do you call it? I just finished masking this. Alright. And I used the silly putty, and I used liquid mask from Vallejo. If you guys are interested in getting this stuff. I don't use it a lot. I like to use this stuff because it's a little quicker for me, but this stuff tends to get a little messy. And, but I was getting a little too close, and I was afraid that the silly putty was going to be just too thick to get into these closed spots right here. So I masked it with that so I can get a good coating on Arnold's arm. Alright, so that's what we're going to work on now. We're going to paint Arnold's arm. Alright, so let me get ready. And what we're going to use for base color for him is going to be tan flesh. And I was going to start recording earlier, but I got caught up doing stuff, so I had a little homework to do for work, so and then I had to take care of stuff with the kid. I was feeling a little bit better today, just to let you know. But I'm still coughing and sneezing, but I'm feeling a little better, which is good, So my usual mix is going to be the consistency of milk. I use about 4 or 5 drops of paint. That might be just a little bit too much. You can probably get away with less, but I have a lot of arm to do, so Arnold's arm is pretty big. So, alright. So we're going to do Caucasian skin now. Caucasian skin now. So it's going to be the basic stuff that I usually do, the way that I do it. And you guys seen videos if you've been watching my channel and know how to do this already. If not, sit back and relax, and I'm going to probably fast forward to some of it because some of it is repetitive, but you can always go back to some of my videos and check out how I do things. Okay, so put this a little bit. So I got a new mixer brush because the other one it was time. Move this over. Alright. And I go very lightly, and I do layers, okay? So, do one layer, let it dry, and come back again if you got to hit it again. Alright. Just make sure you get good coverage. I'm going to let this dry. This is good. Alright, it's a good nice little coat on it. And remember, we're going to do layers. So if a little bit of the gray shows up, that's okay. That's another way of getting tone variation. Right? But you want to make it an even, you know, just because you can't get to one spot, you know, that's what I'm trying to say, you know, and just put color in there. But otherwise, you know, if you leave like a blotchies all over the place, the gray tones from the primer, that's fine. There's no problem with that. It gives it more variation to the skin tone. So I'm gonna let that dry, guys, and then I'll be back. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna do some tinting now. And the first color is gonna be yellow, as usual. Yellow. Sorry about that. And mix some water in there. Do a nice wash, then wash. Alright, so but I'm gonna let this dry, seal it, and come back and do another color. Alright. So it looks good. Alright, so I'll be back in a little bit. Continue. Next color I'm gonna do is the blue. Because I want to give Arnold a little bit of it. Well, you know what? No. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of colors. So let's do red first. Because the red is pretty strong, so. For those of you who are new and want to know what colors I used, yellow is Phalanx Yellow from Citadel. The red that I'm using is Angron Red Clear. Okay. See how it beads over the surface? That's what you want. Right, you want to get that beading in there, because that's going to provide you the freckling, and it's also tinting at the same time. All right. Well, I think by accident, really. It's a happy accident, like Bob Ross says. See how it beats? You don't have to bring it up, you guys can see it from there. Alright. So. See what I'm talking about when I'm talking about Just likes to focus on that background for some reason. See that freckling, the blotchiness, and all that. That's what I want. Okay. Alright. I'm back. Okie dokie. Let's do the blue. Do a little freckling on the brown after this. Let me see what it looks like. Okay. Okay. See how when I added the water, how it changed? That's okay though. Like I said, we're going to be doing layers, so don't panic. Oops. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. That was kids' school. They got a delay opening because of snow. We'll let that dry. I'm going to seal it, and we'll come back and we'll do a little veining. Alright, so let's do the veining. I'm going to just use this raw, no dilution, nothing. This is Dragonhof Nightshade, the same blue that I use for here. Alright. So yeah. I should get another brush. This one's got a little. Gotta fix that. That's alright. Put this over here. The liner brush. Alright. Do that big chunky monkey right there. Not too strong. This is already diluted pretty well. Just get a good color in there. Don't want to overdo it. This is the side that's going to show in the front. So you might want to hit one of these, and I think I'm going to hit the lower one, guys. There's two lower ones right here. Just charge a little bit. So right now it looks a little strong, baby. Don't forget you're going to be putting layers on top of this. So a lot of that you're going to be hiding. Alright, so if it comes in a little strong, but you don't want to go too strong, you know. This is kind of semi-transparent. Alright, so I want to do the hands. Get a couple wings in the hands. Alright. That's too strong. It's too strong. Let me get a bit of clean that up real quick. Alright, let that dry. Let's go to the other side. Discharge it. When I say discharge, I put a little bit on my finger. That's good enough. I don't want to do any more. I don't want to go too crazy. We'll highlight the other ones, but we'll leave this like this. Okay. Alright, next up we're going to use the original color. Alright, I'm going to do a spray over. And that's to blend everything together and to get it ready for the next step. Alright. And you're gonna hit it from a little bit far away, or about a foot and a half away, and just overspray. And you're gonna start bringing all those colors together. Okay. Matte down the red a little bit. Might have to hit that area just a little bit more than the others, but it's okay. Good. Right. You can still tell the veins are there. Okay. Some good color variation there. You can see blues and the reds and the. Okay. Alright, so now I let it dry. I'm going to seal it. I'm going to come back and throw some pastels on there. Alright. Back a little bit. Okay, let's continue. We're going to do the shading with the red iron oxide. Okay, so I got my brush ready, my GillVert brush, and let's get going with that. Let me clean my hands. Just got paint on me. Alright. So the creases. jet down real quick. Too much, just spread it out. Pull it down. See? On the knuckle area right there. See how it gives it a little bit of life? I love how that works right there like that. You see that? How I did that? Okay. Give everything just a little life right there. Same thing here. So I get a little life right there. The wrist area. Here now. Accentuate that a little bit more here. I think it needs it. To the top of this vein. Like I'm doing the sides of these veins because I want these veins to kind of pop out, but I want to give it a little life at the same time, so I'm just doing the sides of them. Alright. Stay a little highlighted, you know what I mean? Alright, see like those right there? Now you can tell, see how they highlight right there? I just did the size of them. Alright, so I'm gonna put a little bit on this side. Just on the sides. Not the top of the wings, but just the sides. So now we're going to do a little shadow flush from underneath before we seal. Or you can seal now if you don't feel confident doing that. Alright. Just put this here to the side. I want to get these wet. There we go. Shadow flush. Here, shadow flash. Okay, same thing for far away, guys. All right, on the bottom. Okay, that's how much you want to spray. Very lightly. All right, shadow areas. All right, so the bottom of the arm. All right, again, you see, this is the top. Watch as I start turning. Look at the color change. Okay. All right. You don't want to overdo it. All right. That's how subtle you want it. Okay. Don't overdo it. Just right there. Gives it that effect. Okay. It gives it a nice tone underneath. Okay. And let me hit that right there a little bit. There we go. Just need a little blending there. That's good. Alright. And that's it. Go seal this. That's it. You're done right there. You need to do anything else. Alright. So I'll let that dry. And I'll be right back. Next up is olive flesh. We're going to do the highlights. Alright. Alright. Very lightly. Again. From the top. So once I sealed it, it kind of like melded everything together a little bit. And I'll show you in a minute. And it toned down some of the pastels, and you know, they look very strong. Okay, see how it toned everything down a little bit? Alright, so now from the top, just like this right here. Okay. Sorry about that. Alright. Again, very lightly. That's strong. Right there. Just like that. Right there. Okay. From the top, a little bit far away. Just start overspraying from the top. Very gently. Right where you want the light to hit. Okay. This will accentuate muscle. This is splattering a little bit. I don't like this. Let me check something. Yeah. Yeah, I need to put a little paint in here. I think it's a little too thin. Hold on a second. Yeah, I want the splatters to show up. Alright. It'll highlight all the veins and the muscles and the stuff all on top. Okay, so just a little too thin. So let me go seal that. Let me see what it looks like after I seal it, and then we'll go take the next step if we have to. Alright, I should get a little trick on my sleeve, so. Alright, I'll be right back. Alright, something I learned from Matt Morozic's channel. I have a bunch of these Garage Kits US. I need to get back to using these because these are good paints. The problem is that Jesse from Garage Kits US, he doesn't make these anymore. And there's a whole thing behind it. He might come back and produce them again eventually down the future, maybe. But he's sticking now with strictly just making Garage Kits. And there's a whole big deal. I mean, these are great paints, but I understand why Jesse had to stop producing these for now. He was having a lot of problems with suppliers, and there's a whole big story behind it. But he doesn't want to look bad in front of his customers, and I totally understand why he did it, and you know, I totally respect it. So, but these are hard to get, you know, so they're not readily available. So, but this is the color is transparent natural flesh, and what Matt did one time is he used this to bring back the tan in the flesh because he went a little too bright, and I tried it and it worked out great one time before, so let's try it again because I think it's just a little bright and needs a little bit of a tan, you know. So I have a mix here. It's, you know, just a little bit of alcohol and water just to dilute the paint just a little bit. And I'm going to just put a couple drops because I'm not going to use a lot of this stuff. Alright, and it's going to spray over. can get carried away with this stuff, so you got to be really careful, okay? Okay, so you got to mix it well. There's a ball in there. But this stuff has been sitting for a while, so I've been mixing for a little bit now. I just want to make sure that I get a good mix. You're going to see what this stuff looks like to come out. Very thin paint. Very good for the airbrush. It's good stuff. Alright, so that's what it looks like in the cup. It looks like, I don't know, like blood. Alright, so let me mix it up in the cup just a little bit. See the color? You get carried away with this stuff, so you gotta be really, really careful. Alright, so I already sealed them. Alright, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna spray from far away. Lightly mist all over the kit. Alright. From far away, look. 2 feet. Very lightly mist over the kit. Just do it once. Let it sit for a minute. And check it. And I think that's it. Just one time, guys. That's all I needed. I just wanted to bring some of that tan back out. That's it. That's it. See, that's all I needed. A little bit on the fingers. That's it. Just that little touch makes a difference. I'm happy with that. That's it. Alright. It might not look like much to you, but to me it makes a huge difference. Alright, it's not as bright. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to let it dry and I'm going to seal it. Alright, so let me show you what I have. There you go. Okay. Alright, so let me start taking some of this, I'm pretty happy where it is. Let me start taking some of this masking off. Let's see where it looks like. Now, I'm going to leave it here for the skin tone. Once I start doing the clothing, I'll see if anything needs to be highlighted or touched up or anything like that. Right. I'm probably going to need a touch up to do around the both hands, you know, where they meet up, most likely. So, all right. So I've been doing this for a while now, and I still got a lot more to do to get some of this stuff off. But there it is for now. Okay. Gotta touch up with the primer again. But I like where it's going. Okay. And once you put the color down for the shirts, you kind of have an idea where you need to put more highlights or anything like that. Alright, I think he needs a little bit of highlights here. Okay, before we finish him off. Alright, and still the nails need to be done. But the next thing when I come back tomorrow is we're going to start working on the shirts. Okay. Alright, so we'll do that. Okay, I'll try to reference the colors. This is like a very off-white. And his is like a red. Okay. And then after that, we'll work on the base. Okay. So far so good. It's going along very nicely. I like the colors where they are. I like the way it's coming out. Okay. So there's going to be a little bit of touch-up needed, you know, in a couple of these areas where both skins meet up, but that's okay. I knew that was going to happen. And that was going to be needed, like around the fingers here. Okay, but we'll work on that later on before we complete the kit. Okay, so Okay, so thanks for hanging around still. Thank you. All right, so I'll see you later, and have a good night. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put a base coat on the wood. That's it. I'll try to keep it within the wood. Alright, and I'm using the Steiner Res natural primer. Okay. I wasn't going to record today, but, you know, I was just sitting here dilly-dallying. So, I figured let me put a base coat on this stuff. I'm still not feeling 100%. Just a base coat for the wood. Okay? Next one I want to do is do the lettering. Because I want to give it like a gradient, and I'm not sure what colors I want to use yet, but then I want to do after that the rocks, and then obviously the helmet. But this is a base for the wood, which I'm going to do it in the oils. So this is the base for it, and the rest of it I'm going to do in oils. Alright, so I'm going to do washes and things like that. So, alright, so that's it for that. Let it dry, seal, and then, you know, we'll come back and keep on working on the rest. Alright, so what I did is basically I highlighted some of the veins. Just a little bit of highlight I put on it, just to make him pop. Especially on Dylan. Dylan was just, you know, he was just blending in too dark with all the colors around him. And I needed a little more pop on him. But I do like the color variation on his skin. If you could tell. See all the different lights and the darks and the shadows. Got a little hint of reds. Blue on the veins. Same thing with Arnold. If you look closely, you see the blue in the veins. And I highlight his veins a little bit too. Needs a little bit more. Alright, he seems to fade away a little bit more. Let me turn around. Still got to do the nails and the shirts. Alright, but there's Dylan's arm. His veins are a little highlighted. So they stick out and they pop. Alright. I touched up around the edges. Okay. I just sealed it. I just came upstairs and just sealed it. So what I'm going to try to do right now is put a little color on the rocks. Like a base color. I think I'm going to do a dark brown. Either dark umber, or I just got some new paint. I can use black brown. I think it'll be too dark though. Because I'm gonna probably do those rocks in more like a grayish tone later on. But I do want to put like a base, dark base color. So I think I want to go with the dark brown. You know what? Let me try the black brown. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paint with this black brown, all the rocks, all the ivy, branches and everything. Trying to skip the letters because I'm going to paint those in white because I want to do a gradient with the red and maybe like a yellow and blah blah blah. And it's stippling on the helmet. So this is going to be black brown too. Alright, so we're going to go with dark colors in there. Alright, so let's get started. I should have been prepared. And like I said, I haven't been feeling good, so I'm coming up here as I feel like up to it. Or, you know, I get bored or whatever, you know. So I just was doing a little bit of work on the computer, so let me paint some. So I'm trying to keep this going. I just got this color, black brown from, so I want to try it. Give it a try and see what works. I do love acro. Love the paint. So far, no complaints. Oops, bring it back. Alright, just before I get started, I gotta still seal this. This hasn't dried right away, but I want to run by you this before I get started with the next. What I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the letters with the airbrush. With you can do it with the white. I'm going to go white. I'm going to go like an off-white or do like a very light gray like this one. I'm using bright natural gray. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just paint the letters in with the airbrush real quick. Now this is not going to be neat, not neat by all means, so it's going to be pretty messy. That's okay, because once I seal it, you know, I can go in there later on and clean up all the edges with paint, with the brown paint. But this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to put white, then I'm going to paint red, and then I'm going to give it with a gradient of yellow on the top parts of it, just very lightly. Very light gradient, you know. And then after that is I'll touch up all the ends, all the, you know, we'll seal it and then we'll touch up everything here with the black brown, okay, with a brush. Alright, I think it'll be easier than to masking all these little letters. I gotta tell you the story. I didn't think I'd tell you before when I started the other video the other day. Is with this is those arms, when the parts that I masked with that with this Vallejo thing right here, it was a freaking nightmare to get it out. It took me like a good I don't know, like a good, I was gonna record. I ended up not recording anything that night because that's all I did is just clean up the mask and I touch up all the edges on the kit, on the arms. Alright, so do you remember this whole part was all masked? What a freaking nightmare it was to get it out. I mean, it was just a pain in the neck. I had to get in there with a really sharp tool and to try to get all the masking out, and that was a real big pain in the ass. Alright, that's why I hate to use it when it's something that has texture. It's good for flat surfaces. If you would do like a shirt like this and you want to mask this that would be fine. But if you like grooves and texture and stuff like that, that's when it becomes, and like edges like this, like little creases and stuff, that's when it gets to be a real pain in the neck to try to get that stuff off. Alright, so it is what it is. You know, it took me a really long time to clean that up. So then what I did is I ended up finished touching things up a little bit, and I'm happy where it is. All right, so that's what happened that day. So that's why I don't want to mask this, all right, because I'm gonna have to use like a liquid mask just to get into. So I just rather paint it. So what I'm gonna do is it's gonna get sloppy. It's okay. Just paint it and then just go in there with the brush, and I think that'll be a best bet. And you still got to get into all those little grooves, and the lettering's got little grooves where you're gonna have to do like a little wash with a darker color to try to get those to pop. Okay. All right. So that's what I'm gonna do. All right. So I'm gonna try to do that, and then what I'll do is I'll mask up all the rocks, the letters afterwards, and then we'll do dry brushing. But that's what I'll mask it when it's done. All right, when I got everything cleaned up and everything, then I'll do dry brush, and then I'll get in there and do a little bit on the edges, on the in between the letters and stuff like that. But for now, that's about it right there. Okay, guys. So when I come back, I'm gonna start doing the gray and then the colors. All right, just in case if I'm not talking, so you know.